Which sport do ghouls do at the weekend? They play around at golf. Be sure to subscribe to my channel. His name is Edwin. I'm writing this to nobody in particular. I just hope that after I'm gone, whoever comes to the house is gentle with him. He needs a loving family, and I won't be able to provide for him forever. I inherited this house from my father, Gary Reinenthal, a decorated army sergeant who lost both his legs in the 70s following botched removal of Crouch shrapnel. At least that's the official story. My father died shortly after, and this house and a bit of money were the only things he left to my mother and me. She died when I was 20 of a rare skin disease, so now I'm all alone. Well, not entirely alone. I've got Edwin, and he's got me. We grew up, well, I grew up, in this house, side by side. All we have is each other. For the past 35 years, we've laughed and played and told ghost stories. We've explored the woods that cut this house off from the world. We've even tried to go fishing a few times at the little lake just east of our home, but he's afraid of water, so that never works out. Edwin looks like any other 6-year-old boy. He's got platinum blonde, almost white hair, and is just as clumsy and curious. There are a few things about him that always struck me as odd, though. Edwin's skin is pretty pale, sometimes it even gets pink and patchy, so he's always got it covered with this ancient-looking schoolboy uniform. I have no idea what decade that outfit is from, but it looks to be from another Ian. Edwin gets upset. Like any child, he's prone to tantrums, especially when he's hungry. So I try to keep him fed and keep him entertained. I simply can't deal with the screeching and the stomping and the growling. If I come home late from work, I own a small grocery store in town, and haven't fed him, Edwin will take to pitching ungodly fits and skulking around in the shadows, clawing on the walls, making messes of my father's antiques. And if he goes too long without food, his eyes get dark and sunken, his skin gets feverish and blotchy, and his teeth, well, I don't really know how to explain it. His teeth get longer and crooked. I worry about Edwin's limbs as well. They take to bending in strange ways. Enough reminds me of a gnarled winter tree. I've tried to get him to a doctor, but he refuses to leave the property and gets violent if forced. I once brought the town doctor over for a checkup and screamed so loud I had to ask the doctor to leave. I thought the kid would give himself an aneurysm. Fortunately, Edwin doesn't have to eat often. About once a month is all he needs, depending on what I feed him. You have to understand, he doesn't like anything from the grocery store. He doesn't like anything I can cook. The regular food you give to kids makes him violently ill. I tried to give him SpaghettiOs when we were kids, and he threw the bowl at me, leaving burns all over my neck and hands. No, what Edwin needs is a bit stranger than that. He's fond of hair and skin and will take what he can get. When I was 12, after my mom told him to leave for good, he skinned our dog Gunner and ate until the color came back to his face. Edwin's tried to explain it to me. He says he was just born this way, and it isn't something he necessarily likes, but as long as he's being fed, he doesn't have to hurt anyone. He didn't want to hurt my father and my mother, and he doesn't want to hurt me. We have an understanding now. And although that understanding has largely left me bald, my scalp scarred, and my arms permanently consigned to long sleeves, Edwin doesn't throw tantrums, and he doesn't sleep in the bed next to me anymore. We keep a regular feeding schedule, and everybody's happy. I never have to see what he becomes when he's feeling sick, as he calls it, and I don't have to worry about my safety when I can't find him in the house at night. But recently, things have sort of fallen apart around here. Edwin and I haven't been getting along. His fits are worse. His attitude has changed. And he just isn't the same kid I grew up with. He barely laughs anymore. And his eyes are always a tad sunken. His blonde little head is silver graying just a bit, and he's deviating from the schedule. I can't ask him to go and I can't myself leave. I'm pretty much stuck here. He's constantly accusing me of not loving him anymore, and it breaks my heart. I've given a lot to Edwin over the past year. Our friendship has left me with 7 fingers, 1 ear, and most of my toes, but he's beginning to really get on my nerves. He wants more, all the time. This morning before heading to work, he asked me for my leg. Only up to the knee, I promise, he said. And we can wait till the weekend so you have time to rest for work. Please. He gets me with those charming little bug eyes. I've been thinking about it all day, and I've decided that this is my opportunity to really prove to him that I care. Edwin can have both my legs, but if he asks me for anything else this month, I'm going to be really sore with him.